Good evening. My name is Doug Powers, here for Network Security 2602 to discuss encryption. So, I'll start this presentation on modern-day cryptography, the obscuring of sensitive data, by talking about one of the first things we learn about when discussing the subject of data, AES, or Advanced Encryption Standard. AES is a block cipher, which uses fixed-length data strings, or blocks, to manage data. It's used to some degree by the US military to keep classified data concealed. So, what is it? Well, it was developed by NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology. God bless typos. That's technology for the more straight-laced of you out there. So, NIST developed AES way back in 1997, which is a long time ago for computers. It was meant to be an alternative to the, at the time, older and rather mundanely named data encryption standard, which was starting to show its wear against more powerful brute force attacks of the day. Now, these two devices are algorithms. An algorithm is something that uses a set of instructions for a computer to execute some form of process. These particular algorithms are meant to obfuscate data. Obfuscation being a term in security meant to make something indistinguishable or difficult to plainly read. Obfuscation is at the core of many modern infrastructures for security, as it is easier to make a bad guy walk through a ludicrous amount of doors than it is to set up a single impenetrable door. So, AES uses symmetric cryptography, or secret key systems. A single key system, a predetermined key is exchanged between two systems and is used in conjunction with a cipher to encrypt and decrypt relevant data. This single key system is a bit flawed, as if anybody gets access to that key, they'd be able to easily decrypt whatever data they could get their hands on. This is beaten out by an asymmetric key system, in which a public and private key are used. One system has a public key that it shares with the other, and they use that public key combined with both of their private keys to create a unique output. To create a unique output that only those particular private keys can create. Now, knowing what the outcome of those two private keys is how they prove each other's identity in a private asymmetric system. So, AES, which uses the symmetric key system, is mostly used for keeping data at rest stored. That meaning data that is being stored. An RSA system, on the other hand, is what uses an asymmetric cryptographic algorithm. I'm not taking another retake. Now, the asymmetric algorithm uses this public key system that I discussed earlier. That kind of encryption is much better for dealing with data in transit and in use, as it is for communicating between two different systems. As well, it's more secure as a whole because multiple keys that both are and are not being shared are in use. It adds a little bit of a layer of redundancy. Now, hashing is something that you can do in both of these scenarios. When hashing, you could use an MD5 algorithm or message digest 5, which condenses the data into what to a normal person would look like a jarbled mess of information. But using the particular key that was used, say an MD5 key, you'd be able to reverse that data back into its original state. Hashing can be reverse engineered potentially, which is why SALT exists, which is a little bit of randomness thrown into the mix to prevent repeatable outcomes. But you don't always want that non-repeatable outcome. For instance, hash method authentication codes, commonly used for downloads, you see them in other more secure uses as well, is a good way to confirm authenticity of something. If a hash does not match up to what is on a list as it should be, well, you know something went wrong. The data's been tampered with. So you could download a program, hash it in MD5, and then compare it to the list of what the expected MD5 hash should be, and you'll know if you download something incorrectly. More importantly, you would take a program in storage, hash it, and compare it to your records and see if it's been tampered with. Both valid use cases. RSA, on the other hand, is another type of hashing, or sorry, SHA is another type of hashing that is a little bit slower, but more secure than MD5. Well, that's all I've got time for tonight. I'm going to end this recording right here.